Hey there friends, how's it going today? David Potts with Song Notes, and a quick one today where I want to show you this sort of bite-sized getting started guide to the Malagueña. Now this is a traditional Spanish classical guitar piece that is many decades old, lots of variations of it. I'll put this article in the description and then this video in the description. These are the best two places I recommend you checking out if you want to learn more about the Malagueña and the different variations from different artists over time, right? The other thing I'll recommend is Keith Richards' story, where he talks about the first song he ever learned from his grandfather was this song. Super cool video. So in this video, I'm going to show you the things I played at the beginning there. It's the main bass line part. I'm going to show it to you in two places on the guitar, right? The thickest couple strings. And I'm also going to show it to you one octave higher. So it's the same melody, it's just one octave separates those two. And then I'll talk about how after you learn those notes, you can combine them with this droning high E string right here, right? Sounds really cool, and you also can do it an octave higher, right? Combine the two, you can do all kinds of licks and riffs. So let's get into this one and look at how to play this, okay? So, all right, the melody we're gonna look at first is going to be the melody on the middle couple strings. Okay, that's all we're gonna learn first. I sort of wanna walk you through how to look at this and how to think about it. Now see from left to right here, we see the chords written underneath the measures. The first two measures are E, right? That's your E major chord. And then the next two measures are A minor, okay? A minor. Now, the reason I say this is notice how those notes coming from the E major measures are just chord tones coming from the E major chord. And if you put your hand in E major, all you have to do then is just pluck, you know, fourth string, third string, second string, and then repeat that for the second measure, okay? Now, whether you're using your thumb, you can do that if you want to do finger style. You could also use a pick, right? Okay? And then for the A minor, the same deal where you just put your hand in the A minor shape, your fretting hand, and you're going to pluck the third string, then the second string, then you take your finger off the second string, then you do the third string, then you take your finger off the third string, then you're going to do your left middle finger on the third fret of the fourth string. And this is important because this is the finger that if you slide it down one fret, you don't have to slide it like that. You just play it and then keep your sort of finger touching that string and bring it back to this second fret note. And that's the very first note in this entire sequence on the far left, right? So, okay? That is me doing it from left to right there. Notice how efficient this can be when you learn it like this, right? You just keep your left hand in this E major shape, pluck those strings I told you, switch to the A minor shape, and what's cool is when I'm in the A minor, you know, I pluck the third string, second string, take finger off the second string, third string, second fret, take finger off the third string. At this point, I have no fingers on my guitar, and all I have to do then is move my left middle on the third fret of the fourth string, right? And then that's gonna set me up to start it over again with that E major chord. So if you wanna see some zoomed in, slow videos of me doing this over and over and over again, I have some on my website, songnotes.net, on the lesson page for this. Just click the link in the description of this video, right? But let me show you now the same melody, but it's down an octave, right? Same notes. Okay, now we're on strings 6 and 5 here, okay? Now this is a bit trickier because we have some reaching to the 4th fret going on. We're gonna have to do open 6th string, 4th fret of the 6th string, and then we do 2nd fret of the 5th string. Now for whatever reason, this 3-note cluster kind of tripped me up when I was first learning this. Once you get in the groove, it seems pretty, you know, oh, how could that ever be hard? But I still find it tricky, and one of the reasons why is in the next half when we're on the A minor, right, 5th string, open, 3rd, 2nd, open. We're gonna go to 3rd fret of the 6th string and then 1st fret of the 6th string. So that's weird because those 6th string notes in the first measure and in the last measure are different, right? Like we have our F and G, right, in the last measure. And this is a G, this is an F, this is an E. But in the first measure, we're going from the E to this G sharp, right? So this G sharp in the first measure and this G in the last measure are usually not combined together in sort of traditional Western, especially rock, country, classic rock kind of stuff that I normally teach, right? So it's a weird sort of modal thing going on perhaps there. I'm not a theory expert enough to know. But again, from left to right, this 6th string and 5th string version, right? Open, 4th, 2nd, open, 4th, 2nd, and 5th string, open, 3rd, 2nd, open, 3rd, 1st. Okay, so when you're practicing this, right, break off it into phrases. The first 2 measures you can just do repeating, right? And you can practice the next half. And then combine them together. Okay, so that's the full sequence there. Now you know both sequences. Now what I would recommend doing is, if you can, obviously getting the printout will be a helpful way to learn them and to practice them, but use that as a tool to be able to memorize them. If you can memorize this and memorize playing it in both different places, just these notes, as I just did, it's going to be really what you need to do in order to do cool things, such as you could switch between them like this. Right? That's why I went from low. I played that once, and I moved it an octave higher and played that once, and I did it back and forth, right, without sort of missing a beat in between. Now, that's a great thing to do, and just memorizing them in general is going to sort of help you get a feel for this exercise. It's going to take you perhaps a little bit of time, but get the worksheet, work it on one at a time, one of these figures, a couple measures at a time, and you'll be in good shape. Now, here's the fun part. We can do what I just showed you, but we can add this droning high E string, okay? So here what we're gonna do is take the same melodies we just learned, right? And we're gonna sort of combine it with this high E string that's gonna be playing on the thinnest string. Now, why this high E string, this droning E, sounds cool is it basically gives this constant note that's being repeated after every single note we play, even as we change throughout the bass line there that I showed you. And this constant note is going to have a different relationship with all these other notes that we're playing, and it kind of creates this situation where there's like a bit of tension. Some of the notes it's going to sound harmonious with, others it's going to sound a bit dissonant a little bit. And as we move through the melody, that constant drone becomes a sort of, it's something that doesn't change. So in a way, it's comforting. But in another way, it's causing this coming and going bit of tension. So it's just a real cool characteristic. I don't know if it's traditional and flamenco guitar or classical Spanish guitar in general, but it sounds really cool, okay? So the main idea, if we look at the melody we already learned, right? All we're going to do is play that high E string after every note we just played there, okay? Now, I'm doing this finger style. I guess you could do it with a pick if you wanted to, right? Now, you also could use a pick when you're doing this, but I'm going to be doing it finger style, and this is a great exercise, especially if you want to learn Travis picking. So the main idea here is I'm going to use my right thumb on all the golden notes, right? The circled notes. I'm going to use normally I would use my right index finger. My fingertip is bothering me, so I'm giving that a break. I'm playing with my middle finger today. You can use either of your middle or index fingers as far as the blue notes. And you just want to do a light brush on the thinnest string, okay? So, start off with just that first measure, okay? I'm keeping my fretting hand totally still. Okay? Nice little thing to practice there. Now the A minor is a bit trickier because we're having to do some fretting hand movement, but we want to make sure we don't mute that high E string. And when I say mute, we don't want this hand to sort of lean into it and accidentally touch it, right? So make sure you have a nice arch in your fingers. Now for the A minor, okay? Just put your fingers in the A minor shape. If you can strum it and get that high E string, you're good. Just don't sort of muffle that high E string, right? I notice when I do this, you saw me do it right there a little bit. That was better. You want all your droning notes to be played. You want to be in control of them. Sometimes I notice when I'm not really up to speed with this song, I'll play it and it won't really make a sound because my finger's accidentally muting the string. So my point is, you want to sort of learn the melody first. And then practice bringing in that droning E. And it's not necessarily going to be easy at first, so take it slow. See, I missed that there, right? I'm going to keep that in there for an honest bit of practice. So break it down really slow, learn the melody well, practice doing the melody just with your thumb. If you want to do it with 2 fingers, practice then just doing that melody with your thumb. Do it over and over and over again. And we get comfortable. Bring in the droning note. Okay? Now I'll say that doing it as I just did it, I find to be a bit easier than doing this, doing the lower version. I'll show you that now. Now this lower version, it's tricky because you have to arch your fingers further around the sort of neck of the guitar, right? To get that 5th and 6th string notes, and you don't want to muffle the high E string. So again, take it nice and slow. Okay, and I noticed in that A minor going down, this is the hardest part as far as not muting that high E string, right? Because I'm not usually droning notes like this. It's a different style of play for me, so. Okay, so that's what you're going to do there. Now I have this tabbed out. Again, you're going to find your mileage may vary as far as what you find enjoyable about playing this. Doing the bass notes by themselves, that might be enough of a challenge. Don't feel like you need to do the droning high E string. It's tricky to do. Again, it works best for me when I'm doing the sort of the octave up version, as I said earlier. So get this printout. It's over on my website. It's a great thing to follow along with, and it'll help you sort of take this, have some fun with it. This has been a really fun tune, and watch what you hear Keith Richards play in that video that's on my website. It's really cool. I really enjoy listening to it. Thanks for watching, y'all. I'm excited to get back to it after spending a couple weeks in Alaska. If I owe you an email reply, I will get to you shortly. But in the meantime, I'll talk to you in the next video, and have a good one, my friends, wherever you are. Bye-bye.